A New York Magazine cover story argues that collusion is not the biggest political threat to the Trump administration. Check out that cover there. It is corruption. Joining us now to discuss, John Avlon and CNN political commentator Margaret Hoover, who I think know each other. But
familiar with each other's work.
So.
Best work.
My God, the Avlon reunited.
This is a family program. The cover, I mean, beyond the cover is just, the president's not going to like the cover, but the argument here, in the words of New York Magazine, not collusion, not incompetence, not cruelty, it's the corruption stupid. Do you buy that?
As a political analyst, I'm going to have a different answer for you than anybody who's making the case that this administration has brought in a huge amount of people that don't have the discretion or really the respect for the office that we demand in our transparent government full of public service, right? The idea that people have gotten into power to line their pockets and not serve the public in the most altruistic way will really strike many citizens negatively. What I will tell you, though, as a political analyst who has family in red flyover state country that voted for Donald Trump, here's the problem. I'm going to be the naysayer at the table. All these folks, the Republicans, the 80% of Republicans who voted for Trump, even though they didn't like him, they plugged their nose and they did it. They did it because they said, well, what was going to happen if Hillary Clinton was there? All right? And as soon as you bring up corruption, immediately every Trump supporter and every Republican says, you know what, the Clinton Foundation was corrupt. She had her email scandal. So even though that may seem like a false choice, as a political tactic, you're not going to get the Trump folks by mentioning corruption. If your goal is to win over the reasonable edge of the opposition, I know he's dying to go at me, but the point is, you're going to have more success if you make the case that the entire group of people, right? It's the lesser people, the Jared Kushner who got the meeting with Citibank, who then got the loan from Citibank, who then and that's the case. Don't go after Trump, but go after the entire group of people that was supposed to have the swamp drained. Then you can have probably more political salience and traction.
But does that, I just want, that lasts while, and I want you to get in there, that lasts while the economy's doing pretty well, right? People, the stock market's relatively up, 401k is good, people are, unemployment rate is down, wages are finally rising, so folks feel like they're getting a fair deal, they're doing well economically. If that changes, though, and then folks look and see the president and his pals, would that change the dynamic?
Yes, that will change it, well, that's a hypothetical, right? That's a hypothetical. And at the moment, it's true. It is Bill Clinton's The Economy Stupid. All right, go nuts.
Well, look, I mean, here's what's so frustrating is that you see Republicans, good people who voted for Trump, and they say, yeah, sure, maybe he's problematic, maybe there's some corruption, maybe the swamp hasn't been drained, but they engage in whataboutism. They say, but the Clintons would have been worse. The Clinton Foundation was worse. Well, Trump is the president now, and we see just a really troubling pattern from almost day one, doubling the fees for Mar-a-Lago, to all the questions around the Kushner building deals and the Trump Corporation.
But I want to ask about the Trump Corporation, because what are the facts? When the president was running, he said, if I become president, I could not care less about my company. So is he lining his pockets still from... Is he benefiting financially from being president with his own organization?
He is benefiting financially. I mean, that is true. I mean, I'm a Republican. I'm not happy about that. I think it is anathema to the idea of public service, and it really does offend my sensibilities as an American citizen. But what he says and what he does are two different things. And so many times you get Trump supporters who say, forget the tweets, just look at what he does. Okay, well, what he's done on the financial disclosure reforms is on page 161 of 166 say, I can take money out whenever I want, right? So
you're saying that's a problem.
So he has still invested and is still benefiting from the decisions he's making as president. And so does his family. And that's the truth.
Well, look at Trump Hotel in D.C. I mean, there's a reason why many foreign governments, they come to D.C., they hold events, they stay in Trump Hotel. That is a direct financial benefit.
These are rules that are recognizable, but we haven't seen them in the American tradition. But to a lot of international businessmen, they're sort of the way things happen in other countries. Just hasn't happened here.
Here's what the president said on January 28th, 2016 about his own proclivities.
Greatest hit.
My whole life I've been greedy, greedy, greedy. I've grabbed all the money I could get. I'm so greedy. But now I want to be greedy for the United States. I want to grab all that money.
So I think this gets to the point, actually, that the president is being buoyed by a strong economy to date. And that, he can point to that, and that creates a lot of good feelings. And that's why, the president's poll numbers have risen in the last month. There have been a lot of scandals, but it hasn't stuck. He is the Teflon Don. And I think part of the question for
He's
Republicans.
gonna love that.
Well, you know, it applies to him as well as the formerly Teflon Don. But here's the question, Margaret. Republicans have stuck with Trump. They still love him in overwhelming numbers, around 15% dissent. Is his fate entirely attached to the economy, or do Republicans love him unconditionally?
It is Bill Clinton. Republicans hate citing Bill Clinton, but it is the economy, stupid. I mean, it truly is. And the economy is doing well. This is to Jim's point before. None of these cleavage points, none of these fault lines will matter unless ordinary Americans aren't doing well. And he's brought in the promise of bringing back manufacturing, all these things that have, frankly, as long as everybody's making money, people are happy.
Well, we're happy to see the Avlon reunited. It's been wonderful. Margaret,
You guys have had fun the last 2 mornings.
Yes, we
have.
have.
Watch on the sidelines.
We have an hour left of fun,
Ugh.
so keep watching. All right, great to see you, Margaret.
Thanks.